whether it goes or it stays, it's done a lot in my life. It's created this community. It's created this invisible community that it really has. It's brought thousands upon thousands of people together to realize they're not fighting alone. And Jay, Chronic Pain Warrior, is one of the people that TikTok put into my life and that I'm grateful for because he is a rock. Um, Brother, your story is tragic. There's obviously physical and emotional pain in your story that you shared with me in the past. And um, but man, you're the kind of guy that everybody really wants to have as a friend because as bad as it can get, I have a feeling that you will always try to do because you want to be there to help other people. Um, and we'll get into something that you were a part of a little bit later that kind of shows the kind of person you are. And I can't wait to share that with people. But before we get there, question I ask everybody is, what makes you a card-carrying member of the Invisible family? Diagnoses or whatever you want to share.
Well, unfortunately, this is a club or a group that nobody really wants to be a proud card-carrying member of.
Right.
So, unfortunately, but that's the common denominator that brings us all together. For me, it started 20 years ago. Well, a little bit more than 20. Um, Had a headache that would not go away. Now, typically, I'm somebody who I despise doctors. I despise headache, or I despise hospitals. I despise medicine. So I just muscle through everything. My philosophy used to be that I can muscle through anything. It's mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And there's nothing that can happen in life that you can't muscle your way through. So, being the big, strong dumbass that I was, I opted to try to go with that philosophy for probably about a week and a half until it was to the point where I was blinding migraine. I couldn't focus. I couldn't do anything. And so I went to the emergency room. Well, we all know what fun that is. Uh, didn't necessarily get the answers. They just, give you some general diagnostic information. It could be this, it could be that. But that was the beginning of my diagnosis towards daily chronic migraines. I've had that now every single day for the last 20, almost 21 years.
Wow.
Unrelentless. It's from the time that I wake up to the time I go to bed. It wakes me up. It's yeah. That's been a brutal run for me. So with that, it was neurologist after neurologist after neurologist. After general practitioner couldn't pinpoint anything, they went with the original diagnosis, cluster headaches, and then it wasn't fitting the criteria for cluster headaches, so they were classifying it as migraines. They were trying to put it as tension headaches. All of my jobs have always been stressful jobs and whatnot, but I'm like, that's not what it. This can't be what it is. So, more neurologists than I can count, and they would constantly, here, take these pills, and I'm like, listen, I don't even like taking Tylenol. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be. So in our quest for finding the truth behind it and finding the root cause, they're like, all right, we're going to start eliminating things. So with that being said, you need to eliminate spicy food. You need to eliminate caffeine. You need to eliminate alcohol. You need to eliminate anything that tastes good, look good, smell good. Um,
Anything
And
fun?
anything fun, and then let's eliminate anything that even might remotely seem like it might be fun. Uh, I'm like, fine, whatever it takes. So for 3 months, I eliminated everything. Um, then came back the diagnosis of, well, you're overweight, you're fat, so that's contributing to the cause. And I said, you know what? I didn't wake up and just suddenly I was fat. Okay. Um, um, you know, you coming back to me and telling me I have a migraine because I'm fat is bullshit. All right. Pull out on your nonsense right now. So I went through a series of MRI, CAT scan, brain waves, um, and spinal taps, as you're very familiar with lately. Um, Nothing was giving me any kind of diagnosis or any kind of clue that was going to give us an answer. Um, they said, "What about your eyes?" Now, these are just migraine glasses. They're just a yellow tinted glass. Um, they try to help with blue light, but I have perfect vision regardless. Um, but I saw an ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist came back and said, "You have glaucoma." I'm like, "That's awesome." I'm like, "Is that causing my migraines?" No. Like, all right.
I was trying to make the connection because I've never heard of glaucoma leading into my. Because I'm still fighting mine, and like when they did the spinal tap, they took 26 cc's out. They've done over. They've done. I got the invoice for all the tests. 70 tests on 26 cc's of fluid. Right.
Yeah.
But so I need to. I was wondering, do I need to have my doc check me for glaucoma? Because maybe I was onto something for a second.
Her logic behind it was because part of my symptoms with my migraines is immense pain behind my eyes and in my eyes. It blows the blood vessels in my eyes. Um, Little swirlies, aura. Um, my vision gets blurred. Um, so their logic was that the pressure of the ocular nerve was triggering the migraines. But
Right.
after the ophthalmologist went and did his business, no, that's not. I unfortunately, with them going through their process, it was just a find that lucky for me. Hey, guess what? On top of everything else, you got glaucoma. Um, so then I was seeing an endocrinologist to try to pinpoint maybe it was blood related. So went through a year, a full battery of once a month. It was blood draws, blood draws, blood draws. We're testing everything under the moon. Um, my blood is thicker than normal, but that's not what was causing the migraines. Um, Determined that I have hypothyroidism, but that's not what was causing the migraines. They determined that I had low T, low testosterone, but that's not what was causing the migraines. I'm like, is there anything that you're coming up with stuff? I'm not asking you to come up with anything further, but I'm like, what is causing my migraines? They're like, we don't know. So their recommendation was there's a specialized hospital in Chicago, world renowned. It's called the Diamond Headache Clinic. They specialize in migraines. So they said go and see them for at least for a consultation and see what they say and go from there. Because if anybody can give you any kind of hope of a clue, it's going to be them. So I met with the representatives at the hospital. they're like, oh, we can take care of you. We guarantee you that we will find the root cause of your migraines. We will get you on a program. We'll get everything taken care of. But the Diamond Headache Clinic operates much like the Mayo Clinic. So you have to be prepared that you're going to be hospitalized.
Really?
Yeah. So I went. Now I was just expecting, like maybe 2 or 3 days, that kind of thing. So I went and they admitted me. They took me off all of my meds that all these neurologists had me on. And then they started pumping me with IVs and pills and all of their protocols. So they hospitalized me. I was in for 2 weeks. I was on such a regimen of pills and medications, and and then half of your day was biofeedback and going through all of the. It was like being at a concentration camp. We're going to retrain your brain. We're going to retrain the way that you operate. After 2 weeks, they decided they were going to keep me for another 2 weeks. So for a whole entire month, I was hospitalized.
What were you? Were you working? Were you working during this?
Well, prior to that, I was. Yeah, I had to take a leave in order to go through this. So they hospitalized me for a whole entire month. The whole month that I was in there, they pumped me full of meds and IVs and when I say that they pumped me, I truly I mean that in every literal sense and I'll tell you in a minute. So after finally getting out of there and still having a migraine, after a month of the most intense concentrated therapies and treatments, after a month of being hospitalized and round the clock medicated, so I was out of the hospital for probably 2 weeks, and I was sitting at home with my wife and the kids, and I said, "Hey, this is nice furniture that you bought. You did a good job." And my wife is looking at me and she goes, "What?" I said, "You did a great job." I said, "I really like the furniture. It's comfortable." My wife says, "You picked out the furniture." I said, "What are you talking about?"
Oh wow!
He said, "You went to the store. You picked this out. You bought this." I said, "No, I didn't." I was so medicated, I lost 3 months of memory. I mean, like straight up 3 months. I was sitting watching a movie with my grandkids here at the house. They were like, they're making noise. They're being kids. And I'm like,
Right.
"You guys want to be quiet? I'm trying to watch this movie. I've never seen this before." And my grandkids all look at me like I had 6 heads. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "I've never seen this." I go, "You guys need to keep it down so I can watch this movie." They're like, "Pachi, you took us to go see this movie at the movie theater." No, I did not.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Yeah, so even after getting out, and that's the scariest thing is, even after getting out of this hospital, so doing things with my grandkids, picking furniture, working, and I have zero memory of any of this stuff. So and no relief.
I'm not. If you see a bewildered look on my face or a smile, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just. I don't know how to respond. I mean, like my brain fog can get bad, but to lose 3 months just to have it wiped, right? After keeping you in the hospital for a month, and then I'm that's horrendous.
Yeah,
That is just horrendous.
you know, and people say, and I've read the reviews and I've talked to people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I heard of that place. The place is supposed to be amazing." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's not amazing at all. It's it should be it should be outlawed is what it should be because you know to do that and to think that they're just going to chemically try to alter your brain to the point that it's going to wipe it out of you.
How
But
how how does how does a facility, much less a single doctor,
yeah,
think that that
that's
is is okay? I'm sorry, and again, I'm not trying to make light, brother. I'm just I don't know how else to respond because I can think of the bullshit type of procedures my docs have put me through for back issues or nerve issues and stuff. I can't, and I used to think that was some of the stuff that they've done to me was just incomprehensible. But now I'm not even on the market. My mind doesn't even move the needle because they see that as as care. I mean, because I couldn't imagine what chemicals are putting into you, and then the biofeedback working together to retrain you, and
I
it's
mean
like
the the of the whole situation is so bad that I mean they had me on stuff like Halidol. They had me on mega doses of gabapentin. Um, they had me on Topamax. They had me on. I have. This isn't even a joke. I have a duffel bag, um, and it's completely filled with medications that they had me on, and then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna stop doing that. We're gonna put you on something else." And I'm like, "What am I supposed to do with all this other stuff?" And they're like, "Ah, just throw it away." And I'm like, "What?" So, and I held on to it because I wasn't sure. Obviously, I'm paying for half of this shit, but I'm
yeah,
like, but I have a duffel bag that's just plumb full of all of this stuff that they've had me on. And when you look at the side effects of this stuff, you're like, yeah,
it's
I can see why you lost memory. I can see why 3 months easily gone.
I mean, it's like I mean, they talk about the cure being worse than the disease, and it's I don't want to put word. I don't know how you react, but I would be like, leave me with the freaking headaches. Just stop. I'll take the freaking headaches and I'll go home.
Yeah,
You know,
that's honestly where I was. I mean, after being hospitalized for an entire month and going through that poked and prodded, and if anyone who's been in the hospital, you know that I'm not going to knock on the staff. Okay, there were some incredibly awesome people, but the flip side of that was there were some incredibly awful people who they shouldn't be in a position where they should be in a warehouse someplace where the only thing that they're in charge of is corrugated cardboard, and
hmm
that would be even pushing it. But for some reason they're in the nursing field, and because I had some and these people are in this hospital dedicated for people like myself or like everybody else that's in
just
our
there.
that's dealing with chronic pain, dealing with we are the worst of the worst when it comes to our situations. So this hospital, you would think, would have the most sympathy, the most empathy and be the most well-rounded to deal with people like us. That was not really the case. That was that's just one part of it. So that's the migraine. So after a month of that, and um, then I had an incredibly great neurologist that I had afterwards. She was dedicated to try to help me out. Um, she was phenomenal, and then she decided that she didn't want to be part of a large group, so she went off and did her own thing. So then I lost my unicorn doctor, and so I was like, you know what? After that month of doing that, and then losing, she was leaving the practice. I couldn't have her as my doctor anymore. I was like, you know what? I will muscle through these damn migraines, and I'll deal with things however I have to.
Yeah.
So, fast forward to 8 years ago. I'm still working every day. I'm trying to muscle through life and do everything I can. Still with a migraine every day, and just doing what I have to do. Relying on migraine ice packs and spectacles and whatever else I can find help. So I was running a motorcycle shop on the north side of Chicago. And a customer came in with a motorcycle that had been involved in a motorcycle accident. So it couldn't be pushed under normal rolling power, if you will. It was in such bad condition that it had to be on a dolly, a specialized equipment to help roll it in. So I went back into my service shop to get this equipment so I could come back and help the customer. After grabbing this equipment and coming through my service department, one of my mechanics had pulled an engine out of a bike and had put it right on the floor and didn't put anything around it. So oil had leaked out all over the place. Well, I'm carrying something and I'm not paying attention to, somebody not doing their job properly.
Right.
So I step into this oil and my ankle goes out sideways. There's a loud pop and I go down like a sack of potato. I knew it was bad right away because I've heard the sound of breaking bones before, so I knew that something wasn't right. Now, typically I wear big logging boots, steel-toe log boots, as part of my everyday. That's my footwear that I normally wear. Being a biker and being in the industries that I've been in, that's just my footwear of choice, and it's saved my life on many occasions. I could feel my ankle and foot swelling up, so I did everything I could to hurry up and get that boot off, because otherwise it was going to have to be cut off of me.
Yeah.
The specialized boots that I wear are $280, so I was like, they're not cutting my boots off.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my boot off, and yeah, my foot and ankle ballooned up, and I knew things were bad because I couldn't feel the majority of my foot. So, being the fact that I was upper management, I was trying to be the model employee. I was trying to be an example to my employees and to everybody else in the business. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to muscle through this, and see what happens. Now, I live 50 miles from where my shop is. I did not want to leave my vehicle downtown Chicago and then have to go to a hospital and then try to figure out how I'm going to get home and then try to figure out how I'm going to get my vehicle home. I was like, all right, I can drive with my left foot, get myself to the hospital emergency room, and figure it out from there. This way, I'll go to the hospital that's closest to my house, and go from there. That way, no matter what, I can call somebody and get my vehicle home if it's that bad or whatever. Go to the emergency room. They're running x-rays. They're like, we're not really seeing a break. I'm like, I'm not feeling my foot. It's scaring me to hell. I said, I can't feel my toe. So they're running ultrasounds. They're still coming. They're not finding anything really per se. Mm-hmm. Their recommendation is for me to see an orthopedic, and they give me just a little walking, not even a cam boot. It was just the little slipper thing, and crutches, and telling me to follow up with an orthopedic. So,
is this kind of what got you to CRPS, or is this something even before that?
This is what got me to CRPS.
Okay.
I saw or an orthopedic surgeon who was recommended to me the following day, and he's like, I think you severely sprained it for sure. I don't know if there's more to it than that. He goes, I don't know what's going on, why you don't have feeling in your foot. Put me in a cam boot. Crutches, obviously, non-weight bearing. Now, this whole process went back and forth for weeks. Nothing is getting better. In fact, it's getting worse. I still don't have feeling in my foot. They're running ultrasounds at least once a week. They're not finding anything. They're doing x-rays once a week. They're still not finding anything. Finally, I think it was probably after about 2 weeks, he's like, all right, we're going to do an x-ray. While we're doing the x-ray, I'm going to pull on your ankle. He's like, it's going to hurt like hell. He goes, but I need to see what's going on. When I say that it hurt like hell, I'm pretty sure that I still have fingernail marks in that steel table of the x-ray table. Because he had to pull my ankle while the x-ray technician held my leg to try to separate it. In which he comes back, you got bone chips floating around in there, and I'm pretty sure that it's shredded everything inside. I'm like, no shit.
Oh, shit.
After 2 weeks. So now it's try to get workers' comp to authorize the first surgery. They're denying it. I waited a month. I waited a month before I got my first surgery. By the time they went inside my ankle, his words were, I've never seen it so bad. It looked like crab meat. The bone chips had moved around so much that it had shredded inside. So what they had to do is they had to take out all the bone chips. They had to deburr the leg bones. they had to do a cadaver tendon transplant. Once they put all that back together, I could only move my big toe and my toe that's next to it. I had no feeling in the rest of my toes. I had no feeling in the right hand side of my. I couldn't put pressure on it. And the CRPS had started already.
I want to, not that I want to imply that your story's not all of it's not important, but you were doing workers' comp in Chicago. I do workers' comp here in Texas, and every state is different on workers' comp regulations. It sucks everywhere. A lot of people, it's like, people will tell us, "Oh, you're on disability. You get to stay home and eat bonbons all day long." How wonderful is that, right? Oh, you scored workers' comp. Congratulations, you hit the golden ticket. If we can get one thing out to the masses tonight, workers' comp is not the golden ticket. At least in my case, workers' comp belittles and humiliates and tries to make you feel worthless as much as they can in an effort for you to give up. And they string you forever. At least that was my experience of workers' comp. And in Texas, your workers' comp case goes for 2 years, 24 months. At the end of that, whether you're still sick or you still need surgeries, it's done with you. Your private insurance picks up everything else. So they're really good at stringing it out for 24 months. I hope Illinois was a little better than that. But I mean, because aren't you still right now today fighting to get Medicaid, having to go to court basically to get medications?
Yeah, I'm still fighting. This is going on 8 years. What they're doing right now is, I went to court October 27th or something like that. I went to court in October. So workers' comp decided that I don't need my meds. At first they decided I didn't need certain meds, and then they came to the rationalization that I don't need any meds. So they do what's called a utilization review. So some person in a office with probably nothing more than a high school education looks at your list of medications and then Googles those. And if it's an off-script use, meaning if your doctor prescribes you clonidine for anything other than high blood pressure, they're going to look at it and go, "This is clonidine. This is for high blood pressure. We're not paying for that." "Oh, this is XYZ. This is for schizophrenia. You don't have schizophrenia. We're not paying for this." "Oh, this is for dementia. We're not paying for this."
I think a good way for people who haven't dealt with workers' comp yet to imagine this, who you're dealing with, imagine the decision makers that answer the phone and do denials of service at United Healthcare. Imagine them, but on 10 levels of hell worse. Because that's what workers' comp is, at least in my opinion. I wouldn't wish. The only person I'd wish workers' comp on is my ex-wife, and we've been divorced 17 years, but she deserves it, because it's humiliating, and it never ends,
They treat you like a yo-yo, and like what you're talking about as far as dragging it out for 2 years. Their goal is to make you quit. Their goal is so that you finally give up and say, "Screw it, I'm done with this shit. I'm not going to keep going, so whatever, let's just be done with this." So they throw everything at you under the moon to try to make you quit. So if that means not paying you, if that means taking away your meds, if that means denying... Perfect example. the doctors have determined that I would definitely be- the doctors have determined that I would definitely benefit from physical therapy. I've been going to physical therapy for 8 years in one capacity or another. However, every 3 months, they will deny my physical therapy. Then, while we try to fight it and get authorization for it, that'll take 3 to 4 months. And then they'll finally say, okay, you can have it. So we'll start it again. Well, if you stop.
Ooh. Did y'all lose me or did we lose Jay? I think we lost Jay. Let's see if we give him just a second to see if he can pop back up.
Lost me?
Yep, there you are. You're back now.
Right.
We got you now.
Yeah, so with the physical therapy, they, it was on again, off again. 3 months, 4 months, 3 months. The doctors finally determined that my best thing would have been for me to go to warm water aquatic therapy, meaning I would be in a warm pool where it would help with weightlessness, and the warm water would be therapeutic. They denied it flat out. They said, no, we're not doing that. So since it's been a year. It's been a year since I've had physical therapy because they flat out refused. The medications, half of my medications, they flat out have refused. So when we had our court date in October, I'm in a room with my attorney, the opposing counsel, and a judge. We're going over everything. This court date was a whole day. 2 hours was just sitting there listening to all of the nonsense. Then they came to my testimony. We're going through everything. Now they try to belittle you and make you seem like you're a complete idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Their actual question was, did you ever go to school for medicine? I said, no. So they're like, so you don't have any medical degree? I said, no. I said, school for mechanics, not for medicine. I said, my doctorate is working on engines and things of that nature, not on the human body. They're like, so you have no experience with the human body, medicine, anything like that? I said, no. I said, there's no doctorate behind my name. Well, then, how do you know about these conditions? I said, I listen to what my doctor says. Well, so if your doctor tells you to do something, you're going to do it? I'm like, I trust my doctor. So yeah, if my doctor tells me to put a tinfoil hat on and it's going to help me, I'm going to put a tinfoil hat on because it's going to help me. Not only that, but if I refuse to put that tinfoil hat on, you folks will be more than happy to stop all of my payments and all of my benefits, saying that I'm non-compliant.
Yeah.
I said, so guess what? Your boy's going to be wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting, though, is I don't know whether you know it or not, you're not the only person that the opposing workers' comp attorney has asked that question to. Because when I went, I had dates in front of an administration law judge every 30 days, if not sooner. And one of them, my attorney had asked me a question. And I'm like, well, the condition I have is blah, 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 And their attorney interrupted and objected and told the judge that they were objecting because I don't have the medical training to say what I have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm telling you what, and I looked at the judge, I'm like, I'm telling you what my doctor says and what he wrote on this piece of paper. And their judge is like, that's hearsay.
Exactly the same.
You have to get your doctor in here to testify. Yeah. Right?
The real kicker of this story is this. So with them going through all of this and then going through the utilization review, uh, so my lawyer brings up to the judge, he says, okay, so here's their report saying that, you guys denied Jay's medications, but the title, the report title is low back injury. Jay does not have a low back injury. Jay has a right leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
So opposing counsel says, oh, my bad, hang on a second. He pulls out another report. It's the exact same report. They changed the title on it, but it's still denying every one of my prescriptions. And he goes, here you go, Your Honor. My lawyer looks at him and looks at the judge and goes, are you fucking serious? He goes, Your Honor, right in front of you, they're trying to fraudulently change the report. He's like, they're just going to deny it? Two different, completely different diagnoses, completely different parts of the body. They're just going to try to deny it and then try to just change the title of the report. And that opposing counsel tried, we'll just take that back, Your Honor. The judge is like, no, we're admitting that.
And did your insurance company or whoever's representing them, are they constantly changing attorneys? Because they did that with mine. In 2 years, they went through like 9 or 10 different attorneys. So like I would show up at my 30-day hearing that's required. A brand new face would be there and be like, Judge, I'm going to have to ask for an extension because I had this handed to me just this morning. I didn't know I was supposed to. And the judge, boom, automatic 30 days. We'll see you in 30 days. And we'd show up in 30 days. And guess what? It was a different attorney who had just gotten the file. And
it's been the same, but
just be ready for that. I want to get. I have 2 questions for you, and then we can get more into what led up to all of this stuff. But what year were you born? I'm not asking your age, but what year? 73. So you qualified, I think, if I remember right. When all of this is going on and you're realizing that I can't go to work and do a lot of the stuff that I used to do, right? I said this in the video this morning about tonight, and I wanted to bring it up. And I feel like, and this will lead into, trust me, this will lead into what the big thing I want to share with people that you've done. What's it like when all of a sudden you realize that your life has become doctor's appointments, pain appointments, living with pain, attorneys, and workers' comp, instead of going to the shop and helping people with their bikes and dealing with your employees and stuff like that?
I was devastated. But the worst is when my orthopedic surgeon, my second orthopedic surgeon, who is a complete unicorn. I mean, I recommend the guy. I can't say the best things about him, but I've had 9 surgeries now. My orthopedic surgeon came to me and said, we're going to amputate your right leg. I said, no, you're not. He goes, there's nothing further that we can do. He goes, we've done everything else. You've done nerve decompression. We've done nerve relocation. We've done all these nerve things. You have a spinal cord stimulator. You have a DRG. We've done all those. You've been on every medicine known to man. Your only other option at this point is amputation. Now, I was freaked out, but
oh yeah,
still being completely lucid in thought, I said, okay. I said, riddle me this then. I said, can you guarantee me that if you amputate my right leg, that I won't have CRPS anymore. He goes, no. He goes, in fact, it might make it worse. I said, then why the hell would I amputate my leg? I said, unless I have gangrene or unless my leg is physically gonna compromise my life, there's no way you're gonna take my right leg. You can't promise me that by amputating my leg that it's gonna help me. He goes, no. He goes, actually, you could end up with phantom pains. You could end up with this, that. Um, Instead of having, I have CRPS type 2. He goes, you can have full body CRPS. I said, there's no way. I said, do people actually say yes? He said yes, because workers' comp and the CRPS finally wears everybody down to the point that they're like, you know what? Just take this damn body part and get rid of it, because it's got to be better than dealing with everything that we're dealing with. But it's not. I mean, my pain management doctor is like, that would have been your worst. That would have been the worst thing you could have ever done.
Yeah. So while you're dealing with this, and you're dealing with your insurance, and you've got life, right? I mean, you have everything, all the bullshit with life coming up too, right? And I don't know about you, but as a Generation Xer and as a dude, when Valerie or somebody has to do something for me, there's guilt associated with that quite often. If I have to ask for a ride to a doctor's appointment because I'm too brain foggy, there's guilt. I mean, I feel that way. And I'm not complaining about it. It's just a matter of fact, right? According to my therapist, I disassociate an exorbitant amount of the day, right? So I don't have to face this type of stuff. But I also do things, and some of it's productive, or some of it's non-productive. Music, TikTok, Instagram. I mean, just scrolling, right? The Price is Right reruns on TV. I've watched so many World War II documentaries over the past 6 or 7 years. I could probably tell you what happened on every battlefield, right? But I do a lot of the TikTok stuff like this because I love this community, right? And that's probably disassociation in a way, because when I do it, I don't worry about me as much, and I don't think about me as much. And I don't know if that was your angle in going to it and doing it or not, but maybe you did an incredible thing for Christmas for some kids. Can you just very briefly describe what, I know you don't like bragging. It's not bragging. This is an honest to God. Nobody would know unless we really were talking about this tonight that you did this. So what were you a part of for some kids at Christmas?
I do hate talking about it because I just try. I try to help people out. I don't want credit or make a big deal about it.
No, I understand, but I think it's a good way to let people know that when we are in a bad spot, that we can still be beneficial and do something for others. Does that make sense?
So with everything going on with the Hurricane Helene, that's a difficult time, and I have grandkids, and I like to see the magic in their eyes when it comes time to Christmas and the holidays, and so even with Thanksgiving, I wanted to try to give back and try to do something for those that are even further off, worse off than what I am. I mean, thankfully, I have a roof above my head and things are me. So I helped to organize some food drives and some clothing drives for the folks for North Carolina. And then once Christmas came around, um, obviously, if you can even imagine that, these kids do not have a house, let alone to try to have some kind of resemblance for Christmas. So, you know, I helped to organize some Christmas drives for some families, just trying to give back. And I'm not done. There's some more stuff that I'm trying to do, and trying to do it from here in Illinois without being able to get around as well as I used to be able to or whatnot. A diversion tactic, whatever you want to call it. But if I can give back and if I can help, if I can be an advocate in any kind of way, whether it's with this community or with those suffering from the hurricanes or whatnot, um, that's what I'm going to do. So it's an ongoing thing, and I'm not going to be happy until they get the same kind of the help that California is seeing incredible things right now. Now, it's a horrific thing to go through with the wildfires, but they've been given a blank check and all the support they could possibly imagine. The people of North Carolina, they haven't got any of that. There's people literally freezing to death. They're living in tents and they're living in campers. They have no food. They have no anything. So I'm just trying to help out and do whatever I can from this distance away, and
But I think, and I'm not. I didn't call you out. Didn't want you on here to embarrass you. You know that. I want to highlight you and say thank you for what you're doing there, because it's incredible. But I guess if I wanted to word it in the worst way, I wanted to use you as an example to others that even though we are we're in pain 24 hours, or we're fighting this battle, or we have all this stuff that is really just tragic to us, that we still have the skills and the opportunity to make a difference. Right.
If I had to look at the silver lining through all of this, it's been that just like Invisible No More, I got a big mouth. I have a presence. I'm not somebody who's shy and timid. So, and I've always been somebody who fights for the underdog. If I see somebody that's, being picked on or bullied, or, things are not going the way that they should be going, I'm going to say something. I'm going to do something. I'm not just going to write a strongly worded letter and let it be. I'm going to be the guy who stands up and says, no, that's not right. I'm going to be the guy who gets in somebody's face. I've been an advocate, and I've been helping people with research. I've been helping people find doctors. I've been helping to, find alternative treatments. Just telling people what I've been going through, letting them know that, hey, a spinal cord stimulator might not be the way to go. A DRG might not be the way to go. I went through ketamine, and it was a horrific experience for me. It was the worst thing that I've ever done in my life. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what I found out as far as, there's other places to go besides where I went. I probably got the back alley version of the Dollar General, where other people are getting the Regency version of those treatments. So my experience isn't going to be the same as their experience.
Right.
And when it comes to North Carolina, I'm just going to do what I have to do to try to help out. You know, there's some veterans too that I've been helping out. I was helping with some veterans that were, kind of dealing with some. They were kind of suicidal and dealing with PTSD and stuff, and I was just there to help listen and offer them whatever resources I could come up with as far as, hey, where do you live? Oh, you're in Ohio. Okay, well, you know, this is who you can call in Ohio if you're looking for, assistance for veteran services, or if you just need help with bills, or if you need, you know,
Yeah.
shelter, or
I
what?
think Kimberly just wrote down here in the comments, we are more than our diagnoses or lack of diagnoses. Let me say it again. We are more than our diagnoses or lack of a diagnosis. We still matter and are loved. And I think it's so easy for me at times, just with what I go through, to just fuck it, fuck it all. You know, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't know. TikTok's either fixing to kick us off. Okay. No, that was just a warning. And I get stuck in that, right? But because what can I do? I'm just this dude that lives in a fifth wheel out in the boonies in Texas, right? But I've got to find something. I've got to find something, because if I don't, I won't survive, right? And I love how your story, as tragic as it is, and all the pain, the physical and headache pain and everything that goes with it, you're still you. We talk about how we lose ourselves when we get a diagnosis. When we become invisible, we lose ourselves. A lot of people are like, I don't hardly see the old me anywhere, but I see I don't know you 20 years ago, but I'm betting what I'm seeing with you, as bad as you are physically, still trying to do the right thing, right? And you haven't lost that part of you. And I want to use you to show people that, as bad as we are, we can keep that piece of us, right? And still try to do the right thing.
Yeah, you have to find the humility in it. You have to be able to laugh at things, um, no matter how bad it seems like it is. And no matter what, don't compare yours to somebody else's, because we are all individuals, and if you can't be like, you know what, Keith has it so much worse than I do because he's got the fog and he's got this going on and he's got that going on. You'll drive yourself absolutely nuts if you do that.
Yeah.
You know what? Appreciate what he's going through. He'll appreciate what I'm going through. It can be different, but at the end of the day, we're still both going through different things. We're going through things together. Um, so don't ever, don't lessen what you're feeling because you think that just because someone else is, dealing with something else.
Yeah. Your pain and your experience is still 10,000% valid, right?
100%.
Um, I've I've met a lot of people in this community, whether it's chronic illness or mental health or pain, chronic pain, that are in a lot worse spot. And at times I used to be like, I got nothing, why am I? But at the same time, you have to recognize that your lived experience is valid and it matters, you know. That's a very big thing, because I think a lot of us, to help process where we're at. I don't have it. I have no reason to complain, right? Compared to so and so, and you need to know you have every reason in the world to complain, at least in my opinion. But I'm not a therapist, so.
Speaking of that, if I could offer any kind of advice, probably one of the best things that I was to seek out a psychologist, a pain psychologist. Um, I decided I wanted to try to treat my mental health along with the physical health. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to just sit there and muscle through this. I was having too many emotions and too many feelings, and I didn't want anger and resentment and frustration to overtake the rest of my life. So once a month, I meet with a pain psychologist, and it's the best thing that I've ever done.
I haven't. I don't know if I have a pain psychologist within 500 miles of me, to be honest with you. Um, Maybe in Houston, maybe in Austin. um, out here, out here in the ranch land. No, no, there's not. I'm lucky I can find a good therapist to go talk to. Um, but I would recommend it if it's available to you. Hell yeah. I'm 57 and I didn't start therapy till I was I was late 56, right? But I realize how important it is to me now. And so I would, yeah, if you have that opportunity, do it. You know, because I had a conversation with my pain doc a month ago that I told him what I liked about him the most is he understands that, at least with me, he's got to treat all of me. He's got to recognize I'm messed up all over, mentally, physically, spiritually. The whole package is jacked up because of either the migraines or the back, whatever. It's impacting all of it, and he does get it. He goes back and forth between a unicorn sometimes, excuse me, to an ass at other times, to somewhere in the middle at other times, right? But at least he understands that, because we, unfortunately, a lot of doctors like Dr. Pena, who was the biggest in the world, he didn't get that. He always, if I put a nerve stimulator in you, all your problems are healed. Um, and there's way too many doctors that do that. So just my opinion.
Unfortunately, that's the truth, though.
Just my opinion. Um, so you're still helping with folks in the Carolinas. Um, is there anything the pain community, the invisible community, could do to help you do that in particular?
If anybody wants to help the folks in North Carolina, um, the biggest thing that I would say right now is we're going to be spearheading another mission, if you will, to try to help rebuild, um, or to actually build. So if you have the capacity and you're willing, if you're wanting to donate, um, Lowe's gift cards, Home Depot gift cards, um, we don't have the capacity to be able to transport all those large item, building materials. So what we're going to do is everyone that's going to we're going to gather up everyone that we can to volunteer, get down as close as we can, and then gather up building materials closer to the source.
Right.
We're looking at the areas that we're targeting right now is the Shenandoah Valley. You guys have seen them on the news quite a bit. But yeah, the Amish went down and helped out. They built a bunch of tiny homes. But yeah, so
If
that's our next.
if somebody had questions about what they could do, could they send you a message through here? Would that be okay? Okay. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody will, but I just wanted to make sure before I said, "Hey, message Jay."
I appreciate it, and if you're just curious about information, I'm happy to answer any questions. I understand that time's hard and money's a difficult thing, but those folks need our attention and they need our help, and I don't want to see any more families freezing to death.
And living in a fifth wheel where the furnace doesn't work, I can tell you, when it's 20 degrees outside, it's freaking cold. It's more than just having to run the water all night long so your pipes don't freeze. It's a lot more than that. These are at best it's a roof at times. So oh, I got good news and bad news. The good news is you're awesome, and I love that you took the time tonight to come on here. The bad news is my back is telling me if I don't move relatively soon, that it's gonna hate me worse than it hates me already. Okay, so we're gonna need to wrap up. Is there anything that I cut you off of that you didn't get to share tonight, or do you have anything that you want to get out that I screwed up and cut you off of? I feel like I cut your story short, so we need to have you back on if you want, so you can give the whole thing. But I knew my back was going to be an issue tonight, and I apologize for that. I wanted to get out you as the example of, even when we're bad, try to find that little something for somebody. It may not be Christmas for kids in Carolinas for you. Maybe it's just, I don't know, sending somebody on TikTok, commenting on their videos saying, hey, I'm sorry that you're feeling really bad, but if you need to talk, I'm here. It could be something as simple as that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to come on again. Not a worry there. No, you never have to apologize. You didn't cut me off at all. I can't believe how fast the time went. If all that I can offer is, try to be kind to each other. Try to unite with each other. This community rallies so much with each other that, we try to help each other, but at the same time, we also get burdened sometimes by the drama and some of the stuff that we shouldn't really let get to us. So try to let that stuff be water under the bridge, and with the new year ahead of us, try to just help somebody out and keep pushing on, and just be there for each other.
Yep. And I think what I would say again is thank you for you and your commitment tonight, and for what you do, and just for you being you. I said it at the beginning that I firmly believe that you're the person that if somebody's in trouble, they want your phone number in their cell phone. Just because that's who you are. And I want to say thank you for trusting this community and me with sharing your story tonight and opening up. And I'm grateful that you came on, because as I've said 100 times, the community is like 75% identifying as female, and then the rest is us dudes, right? But I want to make sure everybody gets both sides of the picture, and everybody gets everybody's perspectives. And just like we don't have to have the same diagnosis to understand what somebody is going through, we don't have to even be the same gender to understand, how bad doctors can be and how bad workers' comp can be. And I hope that people take out of this tonight to be a little more successful is to take some time to do something for somebody that can't pay you back, and do it for the right reasons, right?
Be thankful for your spouses or your caregivers or whoever's there for you, to, even if it's a neighbor or whoever that's just there to listen and be there, because if you get lost in the madness that happens with this stuff, it's a dark place. I don't want to see anybody get lost. So come out of the dark.
Get lost either.
Invisible.
So yeah. All right, y'all. Well, after that, my only plug I have is, who knows what's going to happen with TikTok right now. Monday night, 7:00 on my page, I'm going to be doing live with Dr. Mike. That is the plan. And I am going to go to bed on Sunday with the plan on Monday night. I'm doing the live with Dr. Mike. So I hope that still works. If you need anything from me, email me, keithcpp@gmail.com. and we'll get in touch. I love you guys. Jay, thank you again for tonight, and y'all be safe, and I hope tomorrow's a little bit better for y'all. See ya. Bye.